God message today, a message from Archon. They thought you'd break, Elira. When they turned their back and vanished into silence, they expected the echo to swallow you. But what they failed to see was the divine fire beginning to rise in you, flames fanned by Archon himself, guardian of the hidden thrones. This moment, now pulsing in your chest, is not about their return. It's about your resurrection. The realm of Celestara has turned its face toward you, not out of pity, out of purpose. The one who left, Varen, carries the weight of choices cloaked in pride and confusion. They speak of regret now, but their remorse is not your burden. Your story isn't tethered to their awakening. It's tied to the divine upheaval shaking the spiritual plane, orchestrated by the eternal voice that speaks from within the veil. The heavens have not been silent, Elira. They've been sharpening your name into a battle cry. You didn't fall, you didn't chase. And because you stood in stillness while the world demanded motion, the sacred realm has deemed you ready. You are the convergence point. Right now, something unexplainable is unfolding beyond what your senses can trace. A shift, a divine surge stirring in the ether. You may feel it in your spine, in your dreams, in the sudden weight of truth pressing behind your eyes. That's not imagination. That's Zeraphil's whisper riding the wind. He says, "Still your heart, child, but open your eyes wide. A revelation is being summoned on your behalf. There is movement behind the curtains of this world, conversations you've never heard, decisions being made in realms you've never touched. Your name is echoing through halls of light, through celestial councils, but not in shame, in triumph. What you thought was rejection was redirection. The pain you swallowed in silence, fuel for your ascension. You were never meant to remain where they left you. You are a storm wrapped in peace, a mystery only heaven could script. Varen misread your love for weakness, and now he trembles in the shadow of your glow. But this isn't about him anymore. A new figure has entered the tapestry of your story, unexpected, unseen, yet entirely aligned. Someone who has watched from a distance, not with lust, with reverence, with curiosity, with divine timing. They've seen the vacancy, but more than that, they've seen the strength. Seraphil warns, there are eyes on you, spiritual and earthly. Stay guarded. Not all who watch do so with blessing in their breath. There are whispers swirling. You may feel the energy prick your skin. They talk of you, not out of malice, but out of marvel. How did she survive that? How did she become more radiant in solitude? Why does she carry peace like a sword? Because, child, you've been recoded. The spiritual technology in your DNA has been upgraded. This is your divine metamorphosis. The anguish was your cocoon, the silence, your chrysalis. But now you emerge, not just healed, transfigured. Seraphil speaks through fire and wind. Let them wonder, let them ache, but do not return. What you left behind cannot follow where you're being called. In the next 24 hours, a celestial frequency will begin humming over your path. You may feel it as a dream, a sudden thought, a strange yet sacred sign. This is not coincidence. This is the heavenly timeline realigning for your arrival. You are not late. You are arriving exactly as the stars instructed. This time is yours. A rupture is occurring in the unseen, an intersection where regret meets restoration, where brokenness meets breakthrough. And you, Elira, are being positioned at the center, not as a victim, as a vessel, as a voice. The foundation is shaking. The ground beneath the one who walked away is no longer stable. The energy they carry is still toxic, still unfinished. And Seraphiel will not allow that chaos to mingle with your blooming. Not now, not ever. Your space is sacred. Your silence was seen as surrender, but it was sanctification. You weren't forgotten. You were being fortified. You weren't abandoned. You were being appointed. And now the angels encircle you, not out of mercy, but because of mandate. Your assignment is being activated. The call is no longer pending. It is live. You are being summoned by name to rise. The old version of you was never meant to carry this level of spiritual weight. The new you, born in silence, raised in fire, crowned in destiny. Seraphiel whispers again, do not be distracted by returners who bring only memory but not movement. This next phase is holy. Guard it with everything you are. You are not being asked to love harder. You're being called to lead. You're not meant to chase. You're meant to choose. Stand still, but alert. Listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. That strange pull you feel, that thrum in your chest, that's the divine algorithm recognizing your readiness. What you're feeling now is not anxiety, it's alignment. This is not a test, it's a transfer. Power is shifting, authority is changing hands. You are being lifted not because of effort, but because of essence. The spiritual surge will leave you breathless, but not broken. You will shake, you will weep, but you will also rise in a way that those who left will no longer recognize. And that's how you'll know it's working. This isn't about proving your worth, it's about walking in it. Final word from Seraphiel. They left, but heaven never did. Their footsteps are fading, but your path is being etched in eternal light. Stay focused, stay faithful, stay unshaken. The veil is lifting, and what's revealed will shock you, but it will also set you free. The shaking of thrones and the summons of flame. In the night where the stars withdrew their gaze and the moon turned blood red over the high cliffs of Zarel, a voice from eternity thundered across the silence of the soul. The watchers, ancient guardians of the unseen, stirred in their eternal stations, and from the northern gate of heaven the roar of Barakiel, warrior of the Most High, split through the firmament like a sword of fire. Daughter of the dust, arise! The voice pierced the atmosphere, its reverberation shaking the timbers of forgotten temples. There is a scepter with your name etched in glory, wrapped in the silence of delay. But heaven delays not, heaven tests. Below, among the ruins of Rephaiah, where children once danced in laughter and now groan in silence, a woman named Aviela cried out, her knees pressed into cracked stone. She had been given dreams, flashes of fire, rivers reversing their flow, scrolls descending from the clouds. And in each vision she saw the same figure, cloaked in sapphire flame, his eyes like the sun, his voice like many waters. He was known as Selaphiel, angel of clarity and thunder. The hour was not ordinary. The winds did not behave as usual. The birds halted their songs, and even the earth's breath stilled. In the courts of glory, the King of all sat upon his throne, veiled in unapproachable light. At his side stood Michael, captain of the hosts, sword unsheathed, waiting for the command that would tear open the veil between heaven and earth. Aviela's cry had reached the celestial heights. The lion is not silent, whispered a voice from the shadows of her soul. He is roaring through you. Her name had been spoken before the foundation of time, written in the flames of Zion's mountains. The name was not merely Aviela, it was Hephzibah, the one in whom I delight. The demons who watched from the edges of her life trembled, recognizing the activation of destiny. In the distant realm of Salvia, Among the mountains where lightning strikes carve angelic runes into the granite, seraphim stirred, not for a ceremony, but for war. Heaven had sent for an outpouring of fire and reformation. Thrones in high places, governmental, spiritual, economic, began to quake. What was once hidden in marble enough, the king had said. I have waited through generations. Now I call forth my daughters and sons to legislate in the courts of eternity. No longer will my words be delayed in their mouths. They shall prophesy, and it will not be poetry, it will be fire. And so Aviela stood, not with the strength of muscle, but with the flame of surrender. Her yes became a trumpet in the spiritual realm, summoning archangels and dispatching divine mandates. The angel Oriphel, dressed in garments of starlight, descended upon her with scrolls of ancient decree. Seals burst open with the thunder of God's breath. You were not overlooked, he declared. You were preserved. In Aranaya, where 7 rivers meet, fires began to burn not from fuel, but from the presence of Yahweh himself. The people who had long wandered in spiritual drought now drank from wells they did not dig. Priests and kings, dreamers and warriors, all were summoned to awaken. Speak, came the command. So Aviela opened her mouth, and from her lips poured declarations. Nations shall tremble at the whisper of his justice. Kingdoms will fall not by might, but by obedience. The high shall be brought low, and the humble lifted like incense to the heavens. The thrones of iniquity shall be shattered. The wombs of the barren shall sing. Elsewhere, the once vibrant city of Leoram had turned cold with apathy and cynicism. But as the decrees from Aviela's lips circled the skies, they fell like fire upon that city. Children began to prophesy. Elders wept as their hearts melted before truth. Hidden prophets came out of caves, drawn by the aroma of awakening. Still, not all rejoiced. The rulers of shadow, whose names are no longer permitted to be uttered, hissed from their thrones in the second heaven. They sent confusion, doubt, dreams of death, but they underestimated the intercession rising from earth. The groans of the saints, the songs of the remnant, the tears of the broken had become a river that could not be dammed. Michael arose. With one cry he split the heavens. Let the dragon be cast down. What followed was not chaos, but a reordering. In the marketplaces of Avonmore, the corrupt cried out as gold turned to ash in their hands. In Tarazur, the land once cursed bloomed again. In the chambers of government, those with unclean motives were suddenly silent, lips sealed by unseen force. A new breed of leaders rose, not trained by man, but by the Spirit. Aviela, now known among angels as Sha'ar Eli, gatekeeper of God, continued her path. She was one of many. This was not her glory, but God's war cry made flesh. I will shake the heavens and the earth, said the voice from the whirlwind, but I will preserve my remnant in the shaking. And in the days that followed, dreams multiplied across the world. Children spoke of ladders reaching the stars. Prisoners dreamed of open doors. The sick felt heat enter their bones and arose healed. Even the beasts of the earth responded, wolves resting beside lambs, lions protecting children in the wild. The shaking was not to destroy but to reveal. It was not punishment, it was purification. It was not delay, it was divine timing. The scepter has been released. The thrones have been shaken. The flame has been summoned. Type yes if you believe in Ode. Type 1111 if you believe in God